Integers are numbers that we can use in some situations. They are made of counting numbers. Everybody knows what the counting numbers are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. They continue indefinitely to the right. 0, which is like a point of reference, and the opposite of counting numbers. So what is an opposite? The opposite of 1, for example, is -1. Why? It's at the same distance from 0, but to the left of 0. So these numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, etc., continue extending to the left indefinitely. That's why we represent them on a number line using arrows. That means they extend in both directions forever. So an integer has an opposite. So for example, if my integer is 2, the opposite would be the -2, because it is 2 steps on the other side of 0. It's at the same distance, but on the other side. Now, if you have, for example, that the integer is -5, the number that is on the other side at the same distance from 0 is 5, etc. So the opposite of 1 million is -1 million, the opposite of -1 is 1, and 0 has no opposite. 0 is not considered to be positive or negative. 0 is a reference. 0 is neutral. In some real-life situations, we can use integers. For example, if you owe money to the bank, you can write that situation as -$50. So you owe money. You don't have that money in your pocket. If the quantity is, for example, $50, that's a profit. That's money in your favor, or that's money you have at this moment in your pocket. Temperature. Everybody has, learned about the temperature, for example, at which water boils. That's 100 degrees Celsius. So at that temperature, water boils. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. And we can have temperatures above 0 or below 0. Basically, to represent a temperature here, we can have a number line like that one. 0 degrees Celsius, for example. If the temperature goes up, this could be, for example, 5, 10, 15 degrees Celsius. So that's temperature above 0, or temperatures below 0. So for example, 5 or 10, -10 in this case would mean that, for example, the environment is very cold. So this one can represent a temperature that is below 0. Altitude. For example, Bogota is compared to other cities. If you imagine, this is the sea, this is the sea level. Bogota is here, for example, Bogota. So Bogota is at 2,600 kilometers above the sea level. A submarine could be, swimming or diving here. So that distance could be, for example, represented by a negative integer. So I know that these 30 meters are below the sea level. So I can represent that distance as -30 meters. Distances are not negative, but this is a way to represent that the submarine is diving below the sea level. And for example, Cartagena would be here. Cartagena. At 0 meters above the sea level. So Cartagena would be like the transition between altitude above the sea level and altitude below the sea level. So here we can have or observe some applications of integers in real life. Don't forget to pay attention in class and to associate integers to real life examples.